Welcome to Sara Gonzales Unfiltered, and today, warmonger Speaker of the House Mike Johnson has officially betrayed us. And when I say us, I don't just mean Republicans, I mean the American people, with absolutely no deal, no strategy, no path forward on our own country's border security. He intends to pass a bill that sends nearly $100 billion of your taxpayer dollars to Ukraine and Israel, among other foreign aid. And do you know who was really excited about that? His friends, the Democrats. From Jack Posobiec, according to a senior Republican official, Chuck Schumer was just on the Senate floor bragging to other members about Speaker Johnson giving Democrats everything they wanted in the Ukraine and foreign aid packages. How absolutely pathetic and yet perfect for the Republicans in Congress right now. Now, at this point, you're probably thinking to yourself, wait a second, weren't we told by Mike Johnson himself numerous times that he would not cave on this, that this was his top priority, that he would not consider anything until the border was secured? Yes, he lied many times, in fact.
I'm telling all of you, and we've told the American people, border, border, border. We have to effect real policy change at the border, and that is a necessary condition to anything we do going forward. We have to take care of our border first. That's what the American people demands.
Every state in America is now a border state.
Border, border, border. How can we be engaged in securing the border of foreign countries if we can't secure our own?
We know the urgency in Ukraine. We're going to stand for freedom and make sure that Vladimir Putin doesn't march through Europe.
It's past time to secure the border.
Listen, this is a catastrophe down here.
The battle is for the border.
President Biden wants a supplemental spending bill. It better begin by defending America's national security.
Okay, these are dangerous people who are coming into the country. Over 300 known terrorists.
How can we be engaged in securing the border of foreign countries if we can't secure our own?
$100 billion of your dollars and zero of it going to defend and secure our own border. But listen, Mike has an explanation, okay? With the motion to vacate hanging over his head, not just from Marjorie Taylor Greene, by the way, but from people like Thomas Massie as well, because that's how bad he is. Mike Johnson, of course, with this motion to vacate hanging over his head for being a cowardly, ballless liar. He says he just has to do what's right, regardless of the consequences. Gosh darn it, watch.
My philosophy is you do the right thing and you let the chips fall where they may. If I operated out of fear over a motion to vacate, I would never be able to do my job. Look, history judges us for what we do. This is a critical time right now, a critical time on the world stage. I could make a selfish decision and do something that's different, but I'm doing here what I believe to be the right thing. I think providing lethal aid to Ukraine right now is critically important. I really do. I really do believe the intel and the briefings that we've gotten that I believe Xi and Vladimir Putin and Iran really are an axis of evil. I think they're in coordination on this. I think that Vladimir Putin would continue to march through Europe if he were allowed. I think he might go to the Balkans next. I think he might have a showdown with Poland or one of our NATO allies. To put it bluntly, I would rather send bullets to Ukraine than American boys. My son is
is that on the table
begin
too?
in the Naval Academy this fall. This is a live fire exercise for me, as it is so many American families. This is not a game. It's not a joke. We can't play politics of this. We have to do the right thing. And I'm going to allow an opportunity for every single member of the House to vote their conscience and their will on this. And I think that's the way this institution is supposed to work. And I'm willing to take personal risk for that because we have to do the right thing, and history will judge us.
Oh, history will judge us. We have to do the right thing. We can't be selfish. Spoken like a true uniparty globalist, by the way. Is it selfish to prioritize American interests? You know, like stopping the flow of fentanyl that's killing record numbers of young Americans by securing the border, or stopping violent crime happening in cities across the country, innocent Americans being murdered at the hands of illegal aliens who shouldn't be here? Is it selfish to not want to drain our economic resources, tax us to death, and then turn around and hand the money right on over to these ungrateful, entitled newcomers that we're supposed to call them. I don't know. I'd call fixing that problem the right thing to do, Mike. But I'm also not a uniparty warmonger, so I guess we're a little different in that way. As I say so often, who needs enemies with friends like these? Joining me now to discuss this and more, we have Matthew Marsden, BlazeTV contributor and actor and producer extraordinaire, along with BlazeTV contributor Jaco Booyens, back in the house. Of course, host of The Bottom Line as well. People often tell me, they watch my show and they're like, Sara, you're just so angry all the time. And I'm like, how are you not? Are you not paying attention? Have you not heard a thing that I've talked about? Because if you're paying attention to what's going on around you, I don't know how you're not angry. I don't take this anger home with me. I'm not angry with my family or my kids, but I'm angry when I talk about Mike Johnson, supposed to be on our team, on our side of the fence, lies to us over and over and over again about securing the border, and then is like, actually, we should just spend $100 billion on these other countries instead. I'm sorry. I'm a little angry about that. Is that wrong?
Yeah, well, I mean, I was just sitting there as you were playing those clips, and I was getting more and more angry as it was going on. I was like, this is not good for my heart. But the truth of the matter is we don't have proper representation. They're pathetic. How can you go and say all the things that he said and then flip like that? What is it? Like, what made him flip?
That's why I'm like, what do they have on you?
I'm sorry, but that's what immediately I was like, either is he getting something out of it, or what do they have on you? Because why would you flip like that? Because it's public. It's not like, as I always say, Stallone said to me, this is forever. When you're on camera, it's forever. It's not even though he just said it once. He said it multiple times.
Right.
And then he backs off on it. And it's like, I've got to do the right thing. And we're all sitting there going, have you looked at America?
Right.
Well, look after us first.
That is the right thing to do.
Yeah.
If you're not a globalist.
Yeah, look, I'm going to go fast because I've got quite a bit to say here. First of all, righteous anger is a good thing, all right? And so, number one, righteous anger. Secondly, remember, just a week and a half ago, he defended the potential of a motion to vacate, right? They started talking about, hey, we're going to McCarthy you. We're about to McCarthy you, and that was a turning point. He's now placating to save his own hide. Warmonger, powermonger. He loves the seat, loves the power, doing the right thing for who? For you, Mike. For you. It's people in his own party that's pressuring him. I'm telling you right now that say, hey, we can't lose another speaker. There's votes on the left. There's votes on the right. They're going to remove you. Somebody in the House is going to Matt Gaetz you. They're coming for you. It may be MTG. Somebody's coming for you, so you better do something here. And when you lukewarm, God will spew you out. Here's my concern. The loser here is the American people we're forfeiting the election by this because Biden is going to run on pro-choice, 100%. That's what they're running on. We just had a former president of the United States that walked back pro-life, right? We now don't have an issue. Our only issue that has momentum to win this election is the border.
Yeah.
You're right.
And now we're doing victory laps around the border. It becomes less and less important. Ukraine's more important than our border. Putin, Xi Jinping, did he just connect some freaking wizardry trick to justify, Putin going to the Balkans? It was border. It is our only issue that can get people out to the polls this November and get them to vote. We don't have another issue with momentum, and we don't have time. We got a former president that's now life, not life. You got Kerry Lake floundering, right? Our only issue is the border. Now you got a Speaker of the House going, yeah, but Ukraine's a little more important than our border. We are in serious trouble.
Nobody thinks that Ukraine is more important than the border. Nobody. Listen, I was just in Colorado Springs. People are talking about it there. They are absolutely desperately unhappy because now, when there's that many millions of people coming over, where are they going to go? Like, you used to just sneak out. Now they don't want to go to California. Right. They're like, we don't want to go there. So they're going to these other places, and people are like, hang on a second. Why are we seeing homeless people on the streets? Why are we getting cars broken into?
New York City is flying illegals out of New York City to a city of their choice.
But Sarah, what happened to national security? What happened to illegals murdering? Americans? What happened to illegals becoming, sensations online on social media, telling people how to cheat the system? 300 Americans a day die from fentanyl. You want to tell me, Mike, I just got to do the right thing. Ukraine is more important than the 300 Americans that died yesterday?
Right.
You want to call their parents and tell them, you know what?
Exactly.
You know what? Belly dancing president and what if Putin goes to the Balkans? What if Putin becomes an astronaut? What if?
Yeah, that's what bothered me so much. He kept saying he might. Well, he might go to the Balkans. I mean, he might push his ground game further. He might. It's like, $100 billion for he might? No, that doesn't sit well with me.
He's also said that he's not going to do it. Now listen, I know we all know around here that we don't trust politicians, right?
Don't take him at his word.
It's what it is there's absolutely zero trust in these people. They have no integrity.
There's no character. There's zero character in these people.
And did you notice that he's like,
yeah.
Why are you stuttering like that?
He knows the right thing to do is to protect America. He knows.
That's right.
He's not speaking for the people. He's speaking for the uniparty. He knows that.
Yeah.
It's exactly what he's doing.
History will judge us. Yes, I agree.
I agree.
What, 10 million, 12 million illegal immigrants being funneled into the country in almost 4 years and all of the ramifications from that? Yes, history will judge you. They will also judge the fact that you stood by and did nothing about it. History will definitely judge you, Mike, and it's not going to be good, especially when we're talking about the fentanyl. We're talking about the crime. We're talking about the violent crime and murders that have happened that can be traced back to illegal immigrants. Here's another one. A Haitian migrant suspected of murdering 2 men in New York previously used the Customs and Border Protection CBP One app to gain entry into the country. Turns out, he actually just, he set an appointment through the CBP One app. Okay, he entered the U.S. approximately 8 months ago. He came here he just went on CBP One and he was like, beep, boop, boop, boop. Okay, cool, great. So booked an appointment July 25th, I believe, to a port of entry using the app, given a notice to appear, processed, released on into the interior of the country. Yep. That's it.
Yep.
And then he killed people. That's it.
By the way, my son is sitting in England right now, and he has a 4-year wait to come in legally. 4 years.
My brother, 5-year wait from South Africa. 5 years from South Africa. Today, a guy who was here before on a green card, then left, built a life there, now wants to return. 5-year wait.
It's all like boiling the frog, right? They're telling us there's one set of rules for you. There's another set of rules for these people. Let me just make one more point. I'm going to say this to the camera. If you think they are not going to send our kids over to Ukraine, you are massively mistaken because they don't have the bodies. The kids over there, and nobody talks about this, there's a whole generation of Ukrainians that have been wiped out by this, and we could have stopped it, right? It could have stopped. Our kids will be going to the well, mine won't. Because I'll tell you this, I don't care. They can throw my kids in prison. And do you think the Johnson's kids will be going to prison? Going to Ukraine. Not a chance. They're not going. But our kids, this is very, very serious because they don't have the numbers, right? And like anything, if you commit something, whether it's money, whatever it might be, you are invested in that. And they are not going to back off. The U.S. government, Matthew, that's the next thing.
We are approaching $500 billion very quickly, given to Ukraine. We are now
in
this bill.
We're
Invested.
in this, right?
What would $500 billion today do for inner city America? What would $500 billion today do for the foster care system in America? What would $500 billion invested in technology, to protect our border? You come to the border with me. We're using deer hunting cameras on the border to fight the cartel. Meanwhile, the metaverse is spying on us through our phones. The tech is there. They don't want to protect this border, Matt. It's a means to an end for these folks. We think they're our friends. He's not with us. You could maybe count 10 in D.C. that's actually with us.
I'm not even sure I can count 10. Maybe if you combined the Senate and the House. maybe.
You know what?
Potentially.
I'll tell you this. I saw Jesse Kelly going about this with Tucker yesterday, or today or yesterday. It was one of the best pieces of television I've seen in a long time. It's on us. It's totally our fault.
Yeah.
I don't blame them because they're going to get away with it. It's like anything. We're seeing this now. We've facilitated it. You sleptwalk through this. Think, oh, that's okay. It's like parenting, right? I've said this 1,000 times. You cannot outsource your parenting, right? You cannot outsource governing in America. You have to be on it on every single thing. You've got to vote on every single thing. And this is why it drives me so bonkers with these DeSantis supporters. They're like, we're going to sit it out because we're so principled that we're not going to. I'm like, do you understand what this is all about right now? This is not the time for that. You have to get involved, and it goes down to local races, school boards, for goodness sake, everything. We are about to lose the country.
We bought the American capitalist mentality, and yes, I'm for capitalism, but not capitalism that abdicates your social responsibility. Not capitalism where all I'm doing is building business. All I'm doing is, we're the ones building business. We're the ones writing checks. You know what the founding fathers did? Shoulder to the plow, buddy, put potatoes in the ground and then go write a bill and come home and homeschool at the farm school. And to whom much is given, much is required in this country. And it's wake up time, but now we're so far past the precipice where to walk this back, it's war.
It's going to be really hard.
Yes.
It's going to be battle. Really, really hard. But that's because they gave it up. That they didn't do something about it. And the problem is there's a bunch of people now that are going, oh, well, we're done. We may as well wait. We can still
forfeit. You can never forfeit. Never. Esther, and never forfeit.
I remember there was a president not that long ago, and Russia didn't seem to want to invade Ukraine when he was president, and China didn't talk about doing anything about Taiwan, and Israel didn't have major attacks from Hamas. I can't put my finger on what that guy's name was.
Mean tweets.
Oh,
mean tweets.
Orange man bad.
Mean tweets.
Look, I'll tell you, no matter where people stand on Trump, you really have to try very, very, very hard to find that he actually abused power as a president. He governed well. You may not like him, you may not like what he did, but let's just compare the abuse of power between Biden and Trump. Or the posse that controls Biden, because Biden can't control his shoelaces. But there wasn't an abuse of it. He didn't go nuke button. He didn't go, just, hey, I got power and I'm hungry and let's just rule the world. No, sound principled business decisions were made for the sake of our country. So
globally, of course, the other leaders followed suit after him. Because it turns out when you have a weak leader, there are other countries that take advantage of that. We're finding out the hard way. All right, we got to take a quick break. We'll be back with more. First, we want to thank our sponsor, Jace Medical, this segment. So, look, like it or not, this is really gross, and it's something I've been talking about for many, many, many years, since before COVID, I should say. A lot of your medication that you take today is actually manufactured in China. That's a really, really bad decision for so many different reasons that I don't have time to get into. But one of them is there's a really high chance that you could just be, like, if they're out of stock, oh, well, you're SOL. We found that out during COVID because China shut down and people didn't get their medications. There are more drug shortages that are happening today in America. And when they do, you don't know if your loved ones are going to get the medications that they need. So that is why you need the Jace case. It's a personalized emergency kit that contains 5 essential antibiotics that treat the most common and deadly bacterial infections. Imagine your kid goes to the doctor, gets diagnosed with strep throat, and they're like, well, they have strep throat and they do need amoxicillin or they could get scarlet fever, but we're all out. So good luck to you. All right. You don't want to be in that position. Get the Jace case and order one for you. You can personalize it and then also buy a gift card for your loved ones so that they can personalize a Jace case and have one on hand should the need arise. You can go to jasemedical.com. Use code Sara for a discount on your order at checkout. That is jasemedical.com. Promo code Sara. We are now in day 3 of Donald Trump's hush money payment trial. Ooh, the big trial. Well, I say big. There are going to be many because, of course, they are trying to come after Joe Biden's top political opponent, which isn't fascisty at all, okay? So they've picked some of these jurors. They're still in the jury selection phase. I want to go through, obviously we don't know their names, but I want to go through just little tidbits of information about these jurors. And I want to walk through these and see if we can figure out if the cards are going to be stacked against him or not. All right. So first of all, juror number 2 and juror number 4, we know have already been dismissed. They're gone. Juror number 4, which I'll get to in a second, apparently has been arrested for tearing down right-leaning advertisements. So that's good. That's good that he was not actually on the trial. So let's go through the jurors that have been picked. Juror number 1, a male, middle-aged salesman from West Harlem, originally from Ireland, gets news from Daily Mail, New York Times, Fox News, and MSNBC, enjoys outdoor activities in spare time. Can't tell on him. Okay. Juror number 2, who got dismissed, oncology nurse from an NYC cancer center. Media choices include New York Times, CNN, Google, and Facebook, enjoys walking her dogs in spare time. Good riddance. You were not going to be useful to us. Good riddance. Okay. Juror number 3, male, originally from Oregon, moved to New York 5 years ago. Lawyer, gets news from New York Times, Wall Street Journal, and Google. Enjoys hiking and running, not very familiar with the case. I don't believe you.
Liar.
I don't believe you.
Who on planet Earth is not familiar with any... I mean, come on. How do you pick jurors in this case? I mean, it's contaminated.
I know. Okay, so juror 4, which was the one who got removed, from Puerto Rico, living in Lower East Side for 40 years, self-employed technology consultant, gets news from Google, Daily News, and New York Times. He said he found Trump fascinating and mysterious, but then they found out that he had a criminal record that turned out he might not be he may not be very objective. Juror number 5, English teacher living in Harlem with her brother, gets news occasionally from Google, TikTok, and inspirational podcasts.
Oh my God.
He screwed on that one. Juror number 6, female, software engineer for Walt Disney Company, living in Chelsea. Media sources, New York Times and TikTok. Enjoys theater, restaurants, dancing, and watching TV. He screwed on that one. Okay. Juror number 7, male, corporate lawyer from North Carolina, lives on Upper East Side. Enjoys spending time with children and outdoors. I hope he means with his children. That'd be weird if he just enjoyed spending time with children. Gets news from New York Times, Washington Post, New York Post, and Wall Street Journal. Has political views on the Trump presidency, but no personal opinions about Donald Trump's character.
Really? And how would you convince me that you have no personal opinion on anything? What a complete load of bollocks. Okay?
Yeah, it's not looking good.
And how... I mean, remember, you're pulling jurors from the cesspool.
Yep.
It's not like you can mix in a little bit of the South. You know, okay, one is from Carolina, but he lives in New York, but they're all up there. It's not like, hey, can we bring a little balance? You want, and Trump's lawyers has a say too, and when you pick, but you're not picking from...
It's
not picking
from a bad bunch, isn't it?
Yeah, you're not picking from... There's not a lot of cream here. I mean, and so... from the perspective of not hating on people, but from the perspective of being at least moderately neutral, right? I couldn't even think that any of them is moderately neutral to Donald Trump. Of course, they've got an opinion. Everybody's got an opinion on Donald Trump.
Well, they'd be the only people on the planet that don't. It'd be like they kind of like somehow track down the only people in the world that don't have an opinion on him. Because even my family,
half of them is criminal. Half of them are criminals.
Yeah, they've got a criminal record. Yeah, it's...
look, and look, the sad thing is, this is not going to stop.
I know.
You know, it'll go into the presidency. I believe he gets elected. Get him inaugurated.
Please,
get him inaugurated. Getting elected is one thing, but November to January is going to be... Some shenanigans.
They're going to set cities on fire.
Dude, shenanigans.
What's going to happen.
Get him inaugurated, but then buckle up, and I'm going to keep beating this drum. The VP candidate is arguably one of the most important elections of our lifetime with the president, because for some reason, by chance, if the Mike Johnsons of the world doesn't have his back in an impeachment trial in the House, we don't have the Senate. We don't have a fail-safe stopgap in the Senate like we did last time when they impeached him twice. So I don't trust Mike Johnson and that crowd to have his back when he's really throwing down against evil when he's in the White House. So whoever's VP better be somebody that could, if not immediately take the reins 4 years from now, take the reins, and we can have an 16-year run here of fixing this country, because it's not going to take 4 years to fix this, Matthew. It's going to take...
That's one of the arguments that I was having with the DeSantis supporters. And look, I'm a big fan of DeSantis. It's just not right now for him.
I want him as VP.
But me too.
I want him as VP.
The play.
That's the play.
Would be the play. And then he gets it for another 8 years.
And it's smart on Trump. It's smart on DeSantis. If DeSantis is the VP, every victory Trump is going to win, and he's going to win. He's going to win. There's no question.
I hope so, dude. I don't know.
No, DeSantis, he's going to win victories if he's president.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
DeSantis inherits those victories. And if he and you have momentum then on the next election. Here we go. Hallelujah. At least 8 years, maybe 12, right? If you pick someone who is about to croak also in their 80s as a VP, now you got to go raise up another candidate 4 years from now. We got to go pick from the motley crew, the Viveks of the world. And yes, I do not think Vivek can be president of the United States because he's not one of us either. So for me, it's DeSantis as a VP.
So I saw this clip and I could and I couldn't believe the sheer arrogance and audacity of the Democrats who are politically persecuting Joe Biden's political opponent, right? Clearly, just clear as day, right there in broad daylight, politically persecuting him because he's running against Joe Biden. And Joe Biden is out at a campaign speech in Pennsylvania yesterday. He's mocking Donald Trump for having to be in court rather than campaigning like Joe Biden is, I guess. Watch.
So far, we've created 15 million, as mentioned earlier, new jobs, a record in a term of the president.
That's a lie.
It's a life in the pit of hell.
Turns out when you shut everyone's jobs down,
492,000 new jobs so far in Pennsylvania alone.
He's down in Pennsylvania.
Under my predecessor, who's busy right now.
So funny. So funny.
Isn't that so funny?
Oh.
Isn't it so funny that they're using the judicial system? They're weaponizing it against Joe Biden's political opponent. Isn't that so funny? That's so funny that the judge forced him to stay at the trial every single day that it was taking place because they don't want him campaigning. Isn't that so funny that they are as much as they like to talk about threats to democracy, they are, of course, the literal threat to democracy. Isn't that so funny? Donald Trump's busy today. What with all the political persecution, he couldn't make it.
Gonna backfire. It's going to backfire on him. Look, you might as well call him Joe Maduro, right? This is Banana Republic at its best. This is South Africa at the moment. Hey, let's throw the former president in jail for the crimes that we helped him get away from when he was president. But now he's my opponent, and now he's a nuisance. So just throw him in jail.
And this is how short-sighted they are, because they think that somehow their little protected class is going to save them from when they step out of line. Mm-hmm. They don't understand that I know we've spoken about this multiple times, that Trump says, I am the one in between them and you. But he's also the one in between them and the liberals. Right. Because once they start stepping out of line, trust me, and they're not even they want to get rid of guns. They want to get rid of all these things that actually are a barrier. They are certainly a deterrent for them coming in and marching us off to prison. But when they start doing things that are outside of what the Democrats want, gone. They will be gone so fast. And they'll be like,
own.
my pronouns. They'll be like, oh. They don't get it. They don't understand what is coming for everybody. It's not just us.
Yeah.
We're just first. We're first into the gulag.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, okay, we can at least be bunkmates. Okay, we'll
choose. We get to choose. We'll have the best view.
Sir,
Marsden,
please.
I know you do.
You overlord,
We are
please.
gonna. You swing for the fences. You fight like all get out. This is battle time. This is not for the faint of heart. This is not for the American that wants to go sit there and hope someone else fixes a problem. There's no one coming to fix this. It's the American people. It's always actually been set up for the American people.
Mm-hmm.
Always.
Yeah.
And I argue this, and people get mad when I say this, but a nation has the leadership it deserves.
I agree.
We've been weak. It's time to be strong.
So we got to take another quick break, and then when we come back, I want to talk about the poor students at Columbia University. You guys are going to be so sad for some of them. FAFO is what happened over there. You guys can figure that one out. We got to take a quick break. Thank our sponsor, Relief Factor. So those of you who are living in constant pain, you think that that's just the way life is. It doesn't have to be that way. Try Relief Factor. It's an all-natural anti-inflammatory. It's very, very strong and powerful, but it's not like, some prescription medications that are going to make you feel all loopy and crazy and out of control. No, it just targets the inflammation in your body, which actually you may not realize is typically the root cause of your pain. Try their 3-week quick start. Say that 5 times fast. Try it, okay? 70% of the people who try that go on to keep ordering it. It's working for them. It's worked for me. It's worked for Glenn. It's worked for Jaco's mom.
It's actually helping me right now.
Really?
Yeah, I've got torn meniscus in my right knee for about a year, and I need surgery, and there's inflammation, and it's taken my inflammation.
Wow.
I used to say it helped my mom in 3 days. Let me tell you, it's helping me 100%.
Amazing.
No question.
Amazing. So try, if you're in pain, it's worth trying it, okay? They have a guarantee, so you got nothing to lose except your pain, okay? You can go get it at relieffactor.com. Get that 3-week quick start for $19.95 over at relieffactor.com. NYPD removed some anti-Israel protesters from Columbia University's campus in New York City today after these protesters, these students, they were camped out in tents on school grounds, protesting the school and calling on the university to divest itself from companies that have ties to Israel. As, of course, their leader, the president of Columbia University, testified on Capitol Hill regarding anti-Semitism on Columbia's campus. Now, I want to play the world's smallest violin for these protesters that you're about to watch get arrested. Watch. They're all apparently like zip tied together or something, which doesn't seem very efficient, but just camped out in tents, because that'll send a message. You do what we say. We're the students. If your kids came to you and they're like, no, we demand that you take us to this restaurant, would you just be like, okay, fine, you got me, you demanded it, and you're the kid, so I'm definitely going to do what you say? Or are you like, get your ass back to your room, you're grounded, you never talk to me that way, which is basically what just happened.
It's outsourcing your parenting again, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, they're a bunch of spoiled brats that go to, I don't even know how much that would cost to go there, like $100,000 a year. And
right.
I'm sure that they get everything they want. They probably had on their 15th birthday, got the BMW. And this is what happens when you have absent parenting and you do not have a strong male role model in your household.
Yeah. And they're all there on a sociology major and non-elective, and they're all wasting money, and they're all waiting for Joe Biden to forgive their debt. You know what works in a crowd like that? Some 32-degree water. Just open the cannon, bring the fire truck, chill it down to 32, open her up. We could go the manure route, like what's happening in Europe, when they just spray the sewage onto politicians' houses. We could definitely go that route.
I'd be fine with that.
Because everything you do stinks to high heaven. We might as well just make it par for course. But we'll just go with the cold water route. Just a little.
Just wait till they find out that they are going to be the ones that have got to go overseas to fight these wars. That will be, you'll hear like.
You mean you want to send Q-Tip over there?
No, I was going to say, I don't know, that's not good for anybody.
Oh, you'll just be hearing this sound. It'll be a high-pitched squeak, and that will be their sphincter muscle like tightening as they get shipped off to Ukraine and to the Middle East. It's all virtue signaling. They don't even know. They don't know.
Nothing. They've got no core conviction. They're not there because they're convicted. They're swept up. Gen Z lives in emotion. They're charged by emotion. They're over-informed, this shallow. They don't have a core conviction on a single issue. They can't defend a single stance. It's just, they're so empty. Mm-hmm. So empty and void of purpose in life that just give me something to do. Plaster, take super glue and put my hand to a painting, throw stuff on the Mona Lisa,
right.
Zip tie me to this, zip tie me to that. Horrible parenting for a decade or two that's produced this kind of offspring that now, again, is not easy to fix.
And you have no faith, right? So if you have no faith,
Correct.
If they kill God, right, because there's this notion, it just happened in the UK, right? Because they've been like, no, we don't want, because England, whether people want to acknowledge it or not. I mean, when I grew up, we sang hymns and we prayed in
100%.
school, and it was a state school, and that's what you did. But what you've got now is that they tried to push and push and push and push to say, no, we don't want any of that in our schools. Well, now the Muslims are saying we want to pray. And look, I have no problem with them praying at lunchtime. But the fact is, it was because Christians were so weak, they didn't stand up for their faith and say, no, this is a Christian country. Blah, blah, blah. So now they're in this quandary, right? Because they want to say, oh, we're secular. We don't have any faith, right? But now there are people that actually are committed to their faith that are pushing. So something's got to give. And it's the same thing here, where if you kill God, as in if you take God out of their lives, they don't have a purpose, as you said. They don't have. They're trying to fill it, and look, they're going to fill it with whatever it is, whether it's sex, drugs, whatever it might be. And here they feel like they have purpose because they're making themselves these little gods, and they think that they can, like you said, there's no humility there. They're not turning around and saying, oh, well, maybe I should do this. It's like the people that disrupt people on the freeway and they're getting people killed, right? Because they're protesting
I don't
oil.
negotiate with terrorists.
Exactly.
I don't. No. The answer is no.
I just saw a clip. I glanced at a clip of just a big guy, a really big guy. Yeah. You see that clip? Yeah. Grabbing guys by the collar
and just flinging
and tossing them.
Yeah,
we
played it
buddy.
a couple days ago.
You did?
Yeah.
Toss them over the rail.
I said they're just watching the soy-filled bodies just fling around was like just injected into my veins. It was so great. So I want to play a clip here. We're talking about Columbia University and however, I don't know how much it costs to go there for a year, but I would imagine it's probably very close to what you said, 80,000, 100,000 maybe. Columbia. I want to play a moment yesterday during this hearing on Capitol Hill with Columbia's president, Congressman Jim Banks from Indiana, asked President Shafik about the spelling of the word folks in Columbia University's guidebook. Here's that exchange.
Okay, can you help me understand something else? I didn't go to an Ivy League school, admittedly. What can you explain why the word folks is spelled F-O-L-X throughout this guidebook and in other places at the School of Social Work? What does that mean? Serious question.
It's inclusive.
They don't know how to spell.
You've got to be kidding me.
I mean, I'm not familiar with that spelling.
I'm not. I don't find it a laughing matter.
No, I'm not laughing either. I think it's.
You're denying that this is a official product of the school, but this is handed out to all of you. You are aware that it's handed out to all of your students, and you're not doing anything to stop it.
As I said, it's not an official product of the administration.
Is this how Columbia University spells the word folks?
No.
His face.
Yeah, no, because there's probably some student that walked in there with some rainbow story and something, and then they publish it, or they put a Gen Zer in charge of it. That's what happens.
Yeah.
And the problem is I always look at the board on this, right? Because they're the big money people. That's the alum, right? That used to go there.
Yeah.
And and people think it can't happen. It was happening here at A&M, which is, a cornerstone of Texas. If you don't get involved and look at what they're doing, instead of just wanting to have a name on the building, which, by the way, I keep telling you, your grandkids are going to burn it down and they're going to hate you for some reason, right? You have to be involved with what is going on actually at the college, rather than just going, I made a ton of money, I'm going to put my name on a building. They have to get, we keep talking about this, whether it's going down and voting, whether it's trying to run against someone in your local council and taking that little bit of time out, it is a pain in the butt, right, to go and volunteer for that. Or whether you are a multi-billionaire that's giving money to Colombia, figure it out, because they're spelling folks like that.
Yeah. By the way, thank you, Control, $85,000 a year.
I was close.
To send your kids to Colombia so they can learn how to misspell the word folks. We got to take a quick break. We'll be right back. I want to play for you guys Molly Ringwald, of course, the actress from all the 80s, Pretty in Pink and 16 Candles and all these iconic 80s movies. And this is what she said during a Q&A at the Miami Film Festival about, maybe needing a little bit more diversity if they were to redo these movies today. Watch.
Those movies, the movies that, I'm so well known for, they were very much of a time, and if you were to remake that now, I think it would have to be much more diverse, and it would have to be, you couldn't make a movie that white now. No, those movies are really, really very white, and they don't really represent, what it is to be a teenager in a school in America today. I don't think so. But I think that they were really great, and they were of that time, and they really represented John Hughes's experience, and that's what he was writing to his own personal life
that's
experience.
Kind of what art is, right? The expression of your own view of the world. I don't know. There's two producers at the time. I don't know, maybe, but the question we should ask her: if we were to remake it, would you forfeit your role first?
Right.
No. I'm Queen Bee.
Mm-hmm.
The other actresses.
I'm sure.
I mean, come now. You cannot. That's preposterous. George Clooney saying, "Hey, not my house.
Right.
No migrants in my house." Are you kidding? You know who I am? I'm Ocean's 11, dude. Come on, shut your mouth. I mean, this is they are projecting and placating. It's all posturing. It's all virtual activism. Say it because it feels good and it gets social appeal. Actually getting down on ground zero and doing what it takes to fix problems, you will find them nowhere.
And here's part of the problem. When you are looking at someone, let's just say me as a white guy, and I watch Denzel Washington, I do not care that he's a black guy.
You don't see a black guy.
I don't care. It's just...
You see a brilliant actor.
He's a fantastic actor. No, look, I know he's black. I can see him. I know he's a black
That's
guy.
not how you see.
But that's not the thing. It's like, what is the character? Mm-hmm. What is he portraying? And I'm like,
is he a good actor?
Well, but also the character, like you relate to the character,
right.
Like The Equalizer, you're like, that's a badass role.
Right.
But have you ever thought The Equalizer, it would have been better if it was a white guy? You don't think that way.
Right.
But you know what? Honestly, and I'm going to say this. I actually went online last night and I bought the website. Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Make actors great again. Because I'm so sick of this. They are such weak people, feeble people that are bending. Instead of turning around and saying, it doesn't matter. These things don't matter. Like what matters is character, storyline. Yeah, it was John Hughes' experience. You write, you know this. You write about what you know. He grew up and he was a white. You wouldn't ask Spike Lee to go and write about something else and then criticize him for it. It's just absolutely absurd. And can I just say this? What I thought she was going to say initially was, oh, you couldn't do that this day and age. And she's right.
She's right. Correct.
She's right. You couldn't do it this day and age, but not for the reason why she said it.
Exactly.
So I was like,
exactly.
okay, I mean, I
you're like, yeah, that's true. That's true.
Because they do this. They do change it. And like I said, I've got friends of mine who are black, one of my friends is the best actor I've ever worked with. He's amazing. He's absolutely amazing. And now they're like, am I getting this because...
Yeah, he doesn't know, is it my merit or is it a handout? And they don't want handouts.
They don't want that.
Real actor
Nobody
doesn't
wants
want a handout.
I don't want that.
Come on, man.
Well, maybe. Please,
Depends
actually,
on what
maybe
the
I
offer
do.
is.
Hold on now. If you speak that way, Joe may forgive your debt.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. I'm just hoping that Hollywood will have me back without having to do anything that compromises my mind. No, they'll never have me back. Yeah, never.
Well, yeah, no, I'm with you. I started watching it and I was like, yes, that's correct. Okay, is she about to prove a oh, no. She just went super woke. And then she's like, well, that's not representative of what schools in America look like anymore. And I'm like, yeah, that's the problem. That's the problem. Now schools in America, they're going to the library to go get porn for their kids. And
Can you imagine going back to to Spike Lee movies and going, hey, Spike, listen, you got to mix this up a little bit because...
Right.
You'd never say it because... That's his experience. That's what he wanted to put across there. And nobody had any problems with it.
And Matthew, it's his right.
Yeah.
Of course it is.
It's his right. It's his right to say, listen, in this movie, I'm only going to have black actors. Okay, it's your movie.
Fine.
You raised the money. You got investors to invest, which, by the way, people don't have a clue how tough that is. And to actually get a film to screen. Dude, go make art. If you don't like his movie, make your own.
Right. That's
exactly
the beauty
right.
of the free market.
Exactly
make your own.
Yeah.
And by the way, I have no problem with that at all. Like you say, well, I want to just clarify this. Spike Lee goes off and makes his movie, has an all-black cast. Great.
Right.
Good on him.
Great.
We don't need quotas.
Tyler Perry built our whole empire on it. Good on Tyler.
Great.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. All right. We got to take a break. We'll be right back. All right. Joe Biden has a message for you. Are you ready? I don't think you are, but we're going to watch it anyway. Watch.
Are you ready to choose freedom over democracy? Because that's America.
Yes. Embarrassing.
Can you play that one more time, please?
Are you ready to choose freedom over democracy? Because that's America.
Yes. Are you ready to choose freedom over democracy? Because that's America. What?
The drug was wearing off.
Are you ready to choose freedom over democracy? Because that's America. Someone please explain to me what the hell that is supposed to mean.
Joe doesn't know.
Do you know
what do you mean choose freedom over democracy? What are you talking about? And by the way, we are way less free under the Biden regime.
Yeah.
Than we previously were. So no, we're not choosing freedom. We're not choosing democracy either with you, Joe. So what do you mean?
Look, I don't know if you had it over in South Africa or in here in America, but every family party you have, there's the uncle that you're like, please do not have too much of the punch.
Yeah.
Because he does. And then he starts
and
you're sitting there going,
what's going to happen?
Whoa, is he
That's Joe.
It's Joe Biden.
That's Joe. Except it's not the punch. It's just him. It's just it's not what he's drinking. It's just his brain. And that's the problem, guys. That's why we all need to get out in November.
Are you ready to choose freedom over democracy? Because that's America. Yes.